Hey, what's up, guys? It's WiseGuyVito here, and today I want to talk to you about the new Warbond that was announced. Everyone was thinking that we're going to be eating good with new Warbond content, and we got it. And I think a lot of people are very disappointed by the amount of content that is inside these Warbonds. I think there are some people that are maybe hand waving away the fact that this is a subpar, in my opinion, a subpar war bond, and there seems to be a trend that's going on, which is we're continually getting less and less and less things within these war bonds, and they are at the same price point. So, without further ado, let's kind of go over what's in the war bond real quick. So, we get 2 armor sets. Supposedly, the armor set ability or the passive is that you have a chance of not breaking your limbs, so that is arms and legs. Think of this as kind of like the servo-assisted passive. So basically like the armor passive that lets you throw farther. It has a passive on there where your arms have the chance of not breaking if hit. In my opinion, I think this is a very dumb armor passive. I think what would have been a better passive if they were going to go do the chance of breaking the like the arms and the legs is just give straight immunity to it. I think that would be really cool, and it would give people a competitive option. And that maybe and increase sprint speed, because this is kind of like a Napoleonic, in my opinion, a Napoleonic charge forward, run into the fight with melee weapons and stuff like that. Maybe like more sprint speed and more stamina as well. It could be like a 20% increase or something like that. I think that would be pretty cool. But for the most part, the armor sets look really good. That's the nice thing about them. But is looking good, like that important to people over just something that that's not really like too great. Different strokes for different folks. Some people might like that. Some people might not. Personally, I don't know why these two things have to be exclusive to each other. I think that you can look good, have just really good drip, but also have a good armor passive. So that's just me. The primary weapon is another marksman rifle. I'm cool with more marksman rifles in the game, but I think this one's going to be maybe a full auto marksman rifle. It has a 20 round mag to it. It's got a bayonet, which is also pretty cool, and it's got a scope. So this could possibly be like one of the best marksman rifles in the game. That's if it's medium armor pen, because right now light armor penetrating weapons are just not where they should be right now in this game. Light armor penetrating weapons don't really have a place in this game. To be perfectly honest with you, medium armor penetrating weapons are the best. They just are, because it gives you just a wider versatility to them. While light armor penetrating weapons, they have 2 things. They have really bad damage or mid damage, or and they don't have that versatility. So you kind of have to aim for like weak points and stuff like that. I kind of wish that they would just make light armor penetrating weapons just do more damage to weak points, but that's neither here nor there. Until they change that, the mechanics of light armor penetrating weapons right now in Helldivers 2, light armor penetrating weapons aren't really sought after, in my opinion. So, secondary weapon is going to be the saber. It's going to be another melee weapon. I just hope this thing does a lot of damage, applies a good amount of stagger. Otherwise, this is going to be trash. The stun lance, I think, is the best melee weapon in the game right now, because it has reach, and not only can you stagger, but you can stun, which is really good. So that means that the enemy is going to stay in place. Another thing as well is that the stun lance can also kill chargers, right? If this thing could kill chargers, cool. If it had armor pen 4, that'd be great. But right now the stun lance seems to be just like the overall best, so you kind of have to give this thing kind of like a competitive edge to the stun lance, some competitiveness, but I don't think that's going to happen. This is a weird one. The stratagem is going to be a 1 true flag. Basically, it's a stratagem that doubles as a spear, and that's it. I don't understand why this is a stratagem slot. Supposedly, one of the community managers, when asked, hey, like, is there going to be any like type of special effects? Because I think people were kind of speculating, whether or not this thing was going to give more like health regen or like reload speed or, maybe like unflinching if you're near the person with the flag. Just something like just something interesting, kind of like an AoE buff, like whatever that buff would be, just something. And the community manager basically said, "You guys really want more to this?" type of thing. And that's so basically, I think that kind of puts the speculations to rest on whether or not this thing's going to have an AoE buff, because it's not. It's just going to be a spear. And it's a stratagem. Okay? It is a stratagem. Okay? If you want to bring this for RP, I guess that's fine. But, like, I don't know why something that's RP has to be garbage. Why? Again, why can't they just have, things be good and also things that be RP? I think that's totally fine. But for whatever reason, in Airhead's mind, if it's RP, then it has to be complete and utter dog shit. Don't understand that, but we'll see whenever it comes out. Maybe I'm, dogging on this thing a little bit too hard, but we'll see. The booster is going to be the sample scanner, so whenever you pick up a sample, you have a 15% chance of getting a sample twice. So you basically double your amount. So instead of 1, you pick up 2. This is not really a booster for me, because I'm not even spending my samples on the DSS because I still think that the DSS is a complete and utter piece of trash content still in this game, and until they do something to it that makes it worth the wild. The mech thing was in the right way, in the right direction, basically giving mech cooldown, timer reduced or reduction. I think that's fine, but there needs to be stratagem specific DSS stuff, or DSS specific stratagems. I think that'd be really cool, but they're not doing it, so I'm not gonna spend the money on it, or my samples on it. I'm just not. The pyrotech throwable. I think this is probably the most interesting grenade. You throw it and it spins around, and I believe it maybe will catch things on fire or at least do some sort of fire damage, and then it kind of explodes. So we'll see. This might be a good crowd control thing. The problem is that gas grenades exist, right? Gas grenades kind of blow everything out of the water whenever it comes down to just damage over time and also just crowd control, because it confuses everything, right? So we'll see how these compete. This thing has to be doing really good damage, in my opinion, in order for it to be competitive. So we'll see how that is. And then of course you got the player banners, capes, you got a victory pose, and you got in my opinion, I don't really like this title. This is kind of one of the more not so great player titles, in my opinion. I don't think it looks too great. It looks kind of boring. But it's fine if you want to run it. It's serviceable, but I wish it was a little bit more interesting. But overall, what do I think about the Warbond? I don't think that it's worth the $10. I certainly don't think that it's worth the time grinding for this. If you are a new player, you should be going after different things. You should be going after Demolition Democracy one, the fire one. I would even say the gas one is even better than this. Because gas is just really good. You get the gas grenades, you get all the gas stratagems. The sterilizer's not too great, but all the other ones are pretty good. I would even say Truth Enforcers is actually better than this. I know people are kind of saying that Truth Enforcers is on the same level as this. I don't think so at all. I think the Halt is pretty good. The Requiem's okay, and the Unflinching mod is actually very good in my opinion. But again, that's just me. But I don't understand why this Warbond exists. In my opinion, I think that this Warbond should have came out on the 1-year edition of the game as, kind of like a free Warbond, personally. But they didn't do that, so now we got this. I know that the lore is basically around this Warbond is, cool, we beat the Illuminate, so now we're going to be dripped out and stuff like that, which is great. I think that's cool, but I wish there was just a little bit more with this Warbond. The flag should have an AoE buff. The armor set should have immunity to breaking limbs plus something else. I'm hoping and praying that the marksman rifle has medium armor penetration to it, right? The booster should be different. The saber should have maybe arc energy running through it. There's just a whole bevy of different things that they could have done, but instead they were well, this is just for RP purposes. And I know there's a lot of the the more or like the partnered YouTube content creators for Arrowhead that are saying that there's like this big overwhelming amount of people who RP in this game, and I don't really see that in my opinion. I think most of the people in this game are casuals and dad gamers for the most part, and there's like the next biggest would be the hardcore gamers, and then the next would be the RPers, right? Like basically like a subsection of the hardcores, like of the hardcore gamers that are RPers, right? And I just think that's just a small group of people, in my opinion. That's just me. So they're kind of putting their resources into not like the greater audience, right? And that's besides the point. Let's say if this is for RP, right? I don't understand why, if something's RP, then it has to be dog shit, right? I don't understand that. Just make it good. Like I said, just like some of the suggestions that I made, which by the way, comment down below about what you guys think about this Warbond and how you would make it better, or do you think that is fine? Maybe I'm crazy, but in my opinion, this is kind of not the greatest. Like, I was excited for it because I like the drip, but then once you read into it and looked into it, it's really not that great of a Warbond, like, at all. In my opinion, if you're a beginner player, I would not buy this Warbond. This is probably the worst Warbond in the game right now. Just based on the announcement and what we've seen and what we've read, this is the worst Warbond in the game, okay? I would not purchase this one. I'd purchase something different. Just something different altogether. But, I'm, as a content creator, for Helldivers, I'll probably get this and review it and kind of let you guys know what my thoughts are on it. But, for the most part, I don't have any hopes for this being good, in my opinion. That's just me. But we'll see next week whenever this Warbond is released, along with a supposed title update, and we'll kind of see. All I gotta say is if that if this is the appetizer to the title update, I'm kind of worried about the title update a little bit. But that's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. You guys let me know what you think down in the comment section. As always, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.